Week kicks off now with Breitbart News. Sundays with Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Breitbart News Sunday. Your host, Stephen K. Bannon, Sirius XM 125, the Patriot Channel. Our number is 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. I've got Brandon Darby, the managing director of Breitbart Texas, on the line talking about the story of the open border crisis that has driven the President of the United States to basically throw in the towel on amnesty before this November's election and promise the La Razas of the world that he'll get to it sometime in the lame duck session. I want to bring on now Mary Huls, the president of the Clear Lake Tea Party, and with Joanne Fleming, Dale Halls, George Rodriguez, Dwayne Stovall, Heidi Thies, I think it is, and others had a press conference in Austin, Texas on Thursday where they, a month after the governor of Texas said he's going to send the National Guard to the border, and it looks like, a limited action at best. The Tea Party that had kind of initiated that action initially with another press conference came up with a Texas border crisis action plan. And I got to tell you, Mary, we couldn't be prouder of the fact that the grassroots have taken action here or are not to be denied. Can you tell us what forced you guys to do this and what specifically is the action plan?
Well, hi, Stephen. Thank you for having me on. Yes, we did ask the governor to step in and protect Texas because the national government is not doing that. And although we did applaud the deployment of the DPS and the Texas Guard, we found that the rules of engagement that were given to them just was not going to be sufficient. And the deployment only went into the Rio Grande Valley and not the other sectors of the border. And I was part, and Dale as well, we were part of the team that went to Laredo and the Rio Grande Valley with Brandon. And we saw for ourselves that unless the deployment covers the entire border through Texas, all we're doing is just basically doing a dog and pony show, and it's political posturing. And so we felt that's not enough. And so we decided that the best thing we could do is to provide constitutional plan of action for our governor and our state legislature, since it seems that they have not bothered to do the research themselves.
If you could sum up in 3 or 4 points, what do you want to see happen? What is the action plan itself? What do you want to see the governor and other authorities, both state and federal, what do you want to see them do?
Well, we believe that there's a constitutional authority that allows the state of Texas to take unilateral action necessary to address this border crisis. And so we identified specific actions needed to stop the massive influx of the illegal immigrant influx into the state of Texas. What we would like to see is for the DPS and the Texas Guard to... The
DPS would be the Department of Public Safety, and that includes the Texas Rangers. That's the state police and the Texas Rangers, correct?
That's correct. And so what we would like is for him to, one of the items is to establish a tactical Texas Border Brigade, and that would be under the Texas Rangers, not the federal government, and they would be allowed and dedicated to patrol, enforce, and apprehend any illegals and give them to DPS for processing, detention, deportation as appropriate. To not go through ICE, we believe that there is constitutional justification for that in Article 1, Section 10, for the government, for the Texas government to declare imminent danger and to be able to take these actions since the federal government is neglectful in their duties.
What are the other key action points that you want to see take place immediately?
Well, we would like him to also organize and fund the Texas militia under the USC code to augment Texas Border Brigade. We do have several hundred or thousands of militia in Texas that are well trained. They're ex-military, and they could be additional boots on the ground and trade with our DPS and Guard. And that way we would have plenty of personnel on the border. We want the legislature to go into a special session, not wait until January, and address the magnets that are drawing the illegals to our state. The food stamps, free tuition, all of the things that we're giving away at the expense of taxpayers. And I think that if our legislature will stop that and make it a crime for to truly make it a crime and with stiff penalties for any employer to hire the illegals, then I think that we could really stop a lot of the influx.
Mary, before we let you go, it doesn't sound like you're a hater. You're just someone who seems like a citizen, an average citizen who's quite concerned about their state being destroyed by what is essentially an invasion of illegal aliens.
Now, hold on a minute, Mary. Mary's being very modest here.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Mary. One of the reasons that I even know about Falfurrias, which is a secondary border county of Brooks, the only reason I really know about it and know the extent of what's going on there is because of Mary and her husband. They have been going down there to help for a very long time. They've been going down there to help rescue the women who are left out there to die, who can't keep up with the coyotes. I mean, so this is a woman you have on the phone who deserves the utmost respect, and she has been fighting this fight for a very long time. We were honored to have her go on our border trip with us, with the grassroots leaders. But I want to point that out right off the bat because she's not going to point it out to you because she's too modest. But this is the real deal grassroots woman taking action and doing something to make changes, who's been fighting this fight longer than I have.
Well, I think that one thing that I would really like to point out to your listeners is that really, for far too long, the left has portrayed the illegal aliens as poor individuals seeking a job or, fleeing violence in their country. But the truth is the depraved side of this issue has to be brought to the forefront. And if we can raise the awareness of the rapes, the mutilations, murder, brutality, and the slavery, that these open border policies are enabling this human trafficking, we have an opportunity to focus the debate on what is really the true humanitarian crisis. I don't believe it's the mothers coming across on a jet ski running up to Border Patrol. That's not our crisis. The crisis is what's actually happened to these unaccompanied children that are coming across without any ID, and then they're being turned over to sponsors without any proof that they belong to that child. And we don't know what's going to happen to them. And I had a Texas Ranger tell me that he believes that their statistics show that 70% of the children that have come across are going to end up being trafficked. And then they end up with a lifespan of about 7 years. So I tell you, that's what the humanitarian crisis is. And the Republicans have always been the champions against slavery. So I think it's time for them to stand up and to fight against the true slavery that's going on in our nation right now.
Mary, we've got to jump to go to hard break. There's going to be a lot more coverage of you in this story down in Texas, and in particular your action plan. I want to thank you very much for taking time away from your family tonight to join us. You're a true American patriot, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, Brandon, I want you to hold on for the next one. Danny in Texas, real quick. Danny, we got about